Anyway, all right, so let's move on to the interview with Jag Panzer. This was a great interview, nearly an hour long. We cover everything from how he got the artwork for Ample Destruction through virtual reality fishing.
So we really had a great conversation with Mark. We talk about all kinds of things and learned more about the legendary band Jag Panzer.
Very good.
We have both called the Jag Panzer hotline.
Yeah.
Cool.
Yeah. Really cool. I thought this is like something Kiss would do in like 1981 or something, you know.
It is totally like an 80s thing.
Yeah. 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 Charges may apply, right, or whatever. And first minute's free.
I saw that on the telephone pole. Oh, I'm calling this.
Yeah, it was cool. Very throwback.
And we got Harry. He was all
very excited. Yeah. Yes,
it was good.
Oh, and that's him being normal, Harry. He's crazy.
This is really, really wild and good. So many core members have left the band and then they came back in 2013. What do you think is the magical pull that keeps this band together?
Yeah.
Well, we're like a family. We fight, but we get along great. We got each other's back, and it's a creative environment. Everybody can contribute whatever they want. If you really want to do a 2-minute guitar solo, we'll work it in somehow. We split all the money we make equally. It just tries to be we just try to make it a really cool environment to be a musician in.
That's cool. Yeah.
And it's especially good if you don't have any divas in the group, stomping about and such.
Yeah, they don't work well in our group. We try to weed those out.
Yeah. Now you guys are you still in Colorado Springs?
Yeah, I'm the only one that's still here. Harry lives in Greece. Bass player is about 2 hours from me, and everyone else is in Phoenix.
There's an Air Force base up in Colorado Springs, and
yes, several of them.
Yeah, for my job, it was new. They were building it in the 90s. I had to send them steel furniture, trucks of steel furniture, and I just remember that because that was the only thing I ever sent to Colorado Springs was steel furniture, and they had to have special cushion trailers. I remember that. And you could have never hurt this furniture with like chainsaws, but it was for the military. So, yeah.
Oh, this city's dominated by them. We have several military bases. We have a big Army base, a couple Air Force bases, NORAD, Space Command. It's just dominated by the military.
Wow. How good for metal lyric writing. Yeah.
And all 3 of us in the band have known each other since we were 6 years old, and all of us were sons of military veterans.
Oh wow, I didn't know that. That's very interesting. Yeah, pretty cool. Yeah.
I love the black and white guitar behind you.
The V.
Oh, wow. That's like a $80 one from Amazon. I used to have a nice V up there, and it was such a hassle because I'd want to play it. I'm going to take it down and play it, and then I got to take it down and clean it, and then I have to take it down to change the strings, and I said enough. I'm just going to buy an $80 guitar. It's a terrible guitar, but it looks nice on the wall.
It's a decoration. Okay,
yeah, it looks good. So Ken was the latest member to join in 2022. How easy was it to get him to blend and riff with and kind of complement your guitar work?
We had toured with him since 2018. So we'd done a bunch of tours with him, and we liked him, and we wanted to see how his songwriting was, because we expect the lead guitar player, they don't play just solos. We call it put the icing on the cake. Mm-hmm. So I expect solos. I expect melodies, harmonies to some of my guitar work. I expect stuff weaving in and out of the vocals. So we really ask a lot of lead guitar players. So we put him through the ringer. I heard one song, the first song he did for the Howl for the Demos, and I was ready to hire him. But we had one guy in the band that's like, nope, I want to hear all 10.
Wow. Yeah. What's that like? I mean, you've had a lot of guitar players come and go. I mean, what are some how do you get him into a Jag Panzer style? Like what's the regimen that you
well, we first thing we like to see is, do we get along with the guy? Because if you're going on tour, you're in a lot of close spaces with him, and there's a lot of great players that I don't get along with, so those are immediately out the door. we want guys that are good with the fans. We do a free meet and greet and sign every autograph after every gig. So we need a guy that's able to get off stage and can stand there for an hour signing and taking every picture. I don't want to hear any whining and complaining about that. So we want a guy that's willing to do that. Want a guy that, and then actually the third thing is, you got to be a great player, but there's a lot of great players, but far less of the first two qualifications.
Yeah. Who were some of your favorites that have come and gone in terms of guitar players?
Oh, we've had some great ones. We had Chris Broderick for, I guess, about 8 years, and he went on to Megadeth, and he's In Flames now.
I thought I saw a instruction. Does he wear picks on every finger, Chris?
He might. I don't know. He's always doing all kinds of stuff.
Yeah, he was doing some kind of a instructional, and he was like, "Yeah, I have all picks," and I thought, "Wow, yeah, that's intense."
Yeah, he's really an innovative type guy. He was great to be in a band with, and we had Joey Tafoya on lead guitar for. He did 3 albums with us. Another great player. He was one of the early Shrapnel guys with Shrapnel Records in the '80s, and yeah, every lead player we've ever had is very good.
Yeah, the guitar riffs are so intricate in so many of these songs, so I can totally understand you. At least you had somebody vetted, and I think, he did great.
Yeah, he did a good job. It's funny, we didn't know if he wanted the gig because he was a guy that was playing in a lot of different projects and always staying busy on the guitar. And, and if he accepted the gig, that was going to, grab 6 months out of his time right away working on the album. So we weren't really sure if he was interested. So it was kind of a pleasant surprise that Ken was interested.
That's cool. Who came up? I mean, you guys did the concept album, Vain to the Throne, with the Macbeth theme.
One of my favorites.
I think this is the first time that you guys wrote the whole concept yourself, right? Yeah. How did that come about? Like, who came up with that, and how did that evolve?
Well, we were talking about doing a concept again because we approach music differently for a concept. I always initiate the songwriting. I generally do. And with a concept album, I approach it like I'm scoring a film, like a soundtrack. So it's kind of fun for me. So I wanted to do another concept album. So we were batting ideas back and forth, and we decided let's try to write our own. And our drummer and I came up with an idea of a story to be told from 2 different viewpoints. Like we have a team of humans and animals in this story, and the album is written from the viewpoint of the animals, and our comic book's written from the viewpoint of humans. So we kind of had some rough ideas, and we sent them over to our singer Harry, and he just came up with this wonderful story that reminded me of like an old school adventure film that I used to watch when I was a kid. So he started fleshing it out. So he got it to the point where we knew where each song was going to go, and then I just got to work, and I started writing songs for every scene that he wanted one, and some of the stuff got rejected, and everybody in the band's free to comment on anybody's parts. Nobody's got an ego and gets mad. And so I had to, refine some parts and get it better. And finally got a solid demo from my point of view. And then everybody else added their parts and just made it 10 times better.
Yeah.
Did you have other ideas in the running, or was this like just kind of
the only one,
and you just kind of expanded on it?
Yeah, we kind of expanded on it. Now that's as far as the actual concept. As far as music though, oh my God, I probably came up with 10 times the ideas that actually made the record.
Wow.
So we'll have a Jag Panzer box set, is what you're saying soon, right?
Who did the writing for the comic book and the drawing and all that stuff?
I did the writing for it, and then I hired an artist. I had an idea in my mind. I kind of wanted an old school comic book look. So I auditioned about 5 different artists. I finally found an artist from Spain that kind of had the look I wanted. And then, that was about a 6-month project, getting all the comic book art.
Wow.
That is cool.
Yeah, I love the cover with it almost looks like it's a blend of medieval and modern, weaponry and clothing. It's quite the blend.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's what we wanted. We wanted something like, what could you put together with stuff you found, like maybe armor from old parts from a car. And in this environment, in the story, you want to look intimidating. You want to present yourself as a badass. But it's interesting because the guy on the cover he's not the hero of the story or the main character. He's just sort of one of the guys.
Gotcha. Yeah, you guys set a precedent with that cover for ample destruction. That's one of my favorite metal covers ever. And then you just kept with it. Like your covers are so consistent, your artwork. It's always, you can tell it's a Jag Panzer cover. As soon as you look at it, it's consistent.
Oh, that was funny with the ample cover is the artist Keith, a friend of mine, had already sold the painting.
Oh,
and
really?
he's like, I don't know if we can use this for a cover. And so he found out, yeah, we could use it for a cover, but we had to use an existing photo. So he happened to just have one photo that he had taken of it before he gave it to the buyer. So that's what ended up being used for the ample cover.
That's awesome. Cool. So that's hanging in somebody's living room, right?
Yeah.
Very cool.
Like,
Yeah.
funny story about that one.
Yeah, good.
So we had a couple kind of track questions. The Morse code at the beginning of Edge of a Knife. What does that say?
Well, it says help.
It's just I was like trying to figure it out. I was
love the way
wait.
the riff echoes the Morse code. It's the same pattern. That's so cool. Yeah.
Oh man, it was funny because that was so hard to write, to get the timing right of Morse code. And then my band members hear it and they're all playing it in about 3 seconds. Got it. What's hard about this, Mark? And I'm like, you didn't have to write it. And then I played it for another guy, our drummer. He's like, okay, yeah, I got this down like right now. This is hard. It's hard to write. So I'm having to I think they still don't believe me that it was hard to write.
Oh, that's funny.
And then there's
accurate. It's accurate Morse code.
It is accurate. Yeah.
Yeah.
I ran it past a guy that knows Morse code really well, and he listened to it. Okay, that's help.
Okay.
And we thought we would play it. You know, originally we had it there was just going to be Morse code, the sound, but we thought, let's play it as, kind of like a tribute to Neil Peart.
Yeah.
Because, we're all huge Rush fans. So, and YYZ is the Rush song YYZ is Morse code.
I was going to bring that up, but yeah, you beat me to it by like a second.
Oh, no.
I'm always this close to a Rush geek out personally. Yes. So.
The ending of the song has Morse code too, where you just hear the Morse code, and is Animals Are Changing.
Oh God, yeah, that's wild. Yeah.
Oh, and then I was checking out your lyric video, with the Eagles turned killers, and who are they targeting? Because I love how the bombs go with the drum beats in the video, and.
Oh, I actually did that lyric video. We hired somebody else for the other one, but I wanted to do that one. In the story, the Eagles are supposed to be for surveillance only, but they see a group of 5 guys and they kill them. The guys are around a fire and there's lots of smoke, so the Eagles can go in under the cover of smoke and they're just slicing their throats. Oh, wow. So the people in the comic are drawn to be the band members that get killed. And that's kind of a tip of the hat to our very first record when we were teenagers, where we got killed on the cover.
That's awesome.
Okay. That's awesome. Yeah. It all links together.
Yeah, I really love the catchiness of Stronger Than You Know. It has this hook in it. It just gets you right away.
Yeah, I like that song. That's going to be fun to play live.
So have you guys recorded at Morrisound before, or was this the first time?
We've always mixed. We've mixed at Morrisound. I think that's our 5th album there. Okay. Mixing there. And this Morrisound now is Morrisound version 3. Okay. I know most people keep telling me, oh, it's Morrisound version 2. No, there was an original Morrisound in a little building before the classic Morrisound where everybody recorded at. That was actually
Scott Burns.
Scott Burns, right. That was Morrisound version 2. So now they're on Morrisound version 3. Yeah, love working with Jim Morris. Love the studio. And Florida is easy to get to. I mean, it's we're all of us are all around the country, or Harry's in Greece, and you pick something that is a consideration that it's easy to get in and out of the studio, and it was a direct flight for all of us down to Morrisound.
Yeah.
Did you have any memorable moments recording, or did you have any mistakes that ended up actually going on the final recording?
I think my favorite memorable moment is the song Dark Descent. I worked my ass off on that song. What I wanted to do is I wanted a song that you hear it. It sounds like a basic, this is just a basic metal song until you try to tap your feet to it. And then something's going to go very off.
Yeah.
So what I did as a songwriter is I'm adding or dropping eighth notes at various places that you don't notice to make you think that it's a speed up. So what was cool recording it is every engineer we worked with was listening to that song, and these guys are world-class engineers and musicians, and each one of them turned around. Okay, Mark, explain yourself. What's going on here?
You confounded the experts. That's great.
Because they were hearing a tempo change, but they're looking at Pro Tools in front of them and not seeing it.
Oh, wow.
And I said, okay, well, here's what's going on. And I said, okay. And then we got back to work.
That's very cool.
And then my bandmate said, there you go. You got the pat on the back you wanted.
I always like that. Sometimes Mark will like be listening to a song for the millionth time and he'll be like, wait, this is actually a waltz, you know?
I just realized that the other day I realized that the middle part of Orion is in 3/4. I did not know that. And I had that album when I was in high school.
Yeah, I need to go back.
It is the part that the classical sounding part that Cliff wrote. It just, it took me 20 or 30 some years to figure that out. Whatever,
Oh, I've confused so many people with that. We'll be listening to music and I'll just naturally say, oh, waltz time. Well, this isn't a waltz. Well, I didn't say it was a waltz. I said waltz time. Well, that means it's a waltz. No, it doesn't. Waltz time.
Yeah. I know what I wanted to ask you. Have you guys ever considered or thought about playing Ample Destruction in its entirety?
We did it we've done it twice over in Europe. Yeah, the fans like it. I'm the bad guy here. I'm not a fan of that. I mean, I'm always trying to move forward in my music career. And when I say that, I mean artistically, not financially. I want to move forward artistically. And I look at playing all of Ample as kind of a step backwards or a no step. The promoters, we did it for two promoters who are very good friends of ours. But yeah, we turn that down regularly because we get offers to play Ample in its entirety. It's a lot of work because I don't remember music. I couldn't even play half of the Hallowed right now. I always have to go back and figure things out. And so it's a couple of weeks of my time if you ask me to figure out all of Ample again.
No, I totally get that perspective because it's like that was a long time ago and we've got a lot of good music and we're focused on this. I get that. But you talk to different bands that have been around for a while, everybody has a different take on it. Some are great doing it, I saw Holy Diver played from front to back. I mean, so yeah.
I have friends that are in, cool bands and they tell me they love doing the old songs back to back. So everybody's got a different take.
Yep.
So I'm kind of coming from just talking to you. I understand why, it's not like you're a churn, album out a year type band. I understand now why it takes, a couple years and then the finished product is so much better. I guess that's by design or just by time frame.
Yeah, we made a promise when we were kids to really not do filler songs on albums. Some people may not like a couple songs and call them filler, and that's fine, but they're really not. I mean, we really make an effort that every song we write and record on the album has to be the best song on the album at that time period. So like if we're working on the fifth song, we don't ever say, well, songs 2 and 3 are great. We're cool. Let's just skate for a while. No, if we're working on song 5 has to be the best song. Then song 6 has to be the best. We really, really work on that. And we're not afraid to tell each other how we feel about the parts each other are playing. I mean, absolutely straight up. And it's so cool that no one gets angry about it.
Yeah. I know it's important. Yeah.
Yeah, our singer, I mean, we joke around a lot. We'll do a vocal line and he'll say, "How was that, Mark?" And I said, "If we want to express mediocrity in this song, you nailed it. Perfect." And he'll just laugh. And I mean, sometimes we've worked on, he'll do a brilliant vocal take in one take and we're good. Or sometimes we're there all night. And no ego. And that's with everybody in the band, you know.
That's great.
I've worked out guitar parts and everything that I was really proud of. And I've had guys in the band say, you know, I think this can be better or this part can be smoother. And they end up being right.
That's cool. Yeah. There's a lot out there, and you got to be proud of what you're putting out. Like, we write pages and pages and pages of jokes, and the two of us are both like, she'll be like, a little punny, a little too many puns. Or she'll write something and I'll be like, it's almost funny. I don't know. You know, so much gets cut out. You know, like,
oh, I started watching some of your videos yesterday. They're great. They're very entertaining.
The thing is, like, the hardest part for me of the show is I put clips on TikTok, and if you make TikTok any longer than 30 seconds, nobody's watching it. So I'm like, do I have a 30-second joke every week? No, it's like, it's really hard, you know. Just setting it up takes longer than 30 seconds. It's just the attention span of people is just hard to cope with.
Oh yeah, I've had doing on this press tour, I've had people say, you know, this one single's 5 minutes long. Do you really expect people to listen to the song for 5 minutes? I said, well, yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah, I do.
Yeah. We'll do a show with because we add music to the Spotify show, and if we're doing like black metal or death metal, sometimes by the time we add the music, these are 9-minute, 12-minute songs. I'll be like, it's a half hour longer now when we added music, or it's 45 minutes longer because each song was so long, you know. So yeah. Oh God, when animals attack. Yeah.
See, it's our animals should be writing this.
Exactly.
So I noticed you had a lot of German dates coming up, and I'm sure they blocked you because of the name being kind of German origin. Did they say it differently?
Yeah, well, they kind of tease us about not saying it correctly. Yeah, the most of our fans say it the way we do, Jag Panzer, but some of them do the Jagd Panzer.
Yeah.
I answer to either one.
Yeah, the Germans they are so diehard about metal. It's it's hard.
Oh yeah.
There's no irony. They take it full on.
It's funny. A common question I get in interviews is they say, "Do anybody in Germany have any problem with your name?" And I'm like, "It's just a normal German word.
Yeah.
Panzer just means tank.
Right.
It absolutely has."
Are the fans there very different from the fans in the States as far as like how they receive you or how they show their appreciation?
Yeah, Germany's pretty similar to the US. The US has some great fans, but they're in such smaller numbers.
Yeah.
It's culturally different in Europe. You go to a metal show and you see people from 6 to 96 years old.
Yeah.
I mean, there's actually nobody bats an eye when you see people of all ages and families at a metal show. Whereas here, I think a lot of people, because I get people ask me, "Why are you playing metal? You're so old. And you really still listen to metal?" You don't get any of that in Europe. But yeah, the fans in Germany are about like US. There's some other countries though where you know, people come up and grab my shirt and grab things, and that, I mean, it's just, and that's cool. I mean, it's just culturally different.
Yeah.
What do you think's the craziest moment you ever had during a show, or where you
any Spinal Tap stories? Yeah.
Well, we're playing in Greece, and this guy hops on stage, and the crowd goes crazy, and I'm like, "What's going on?" I mean, it's part of the show, and then he comes on my mic and starts singing backing vocals, and the crowd is just going crazy, and we have no idea what's going on, and then we find out later that he's like one of Greece's beloved soccer stars.
Oh wow.
And he's a Jag Panzer fan, and you know, so I got a bunch of pictures. He's a really cool guy. We just had no idea. It was fun though, seeing the crowd just go crazy when this guy jumped on stage.
That's cool. That's a really cool story.
Should have set him up with some guest vocals.
Yeah.
But yeah, Spinal Tap moments like in the movie where they can't find the stage. Yeah, we had that happen to us. We were on tour in the eastern part of Germany, and we're playing this huge building that has, you know, everything in it. A gym, classrooms, a concert hall. You know, it's this huge old building, and we got completely lost and we're walking around until finally somebody had to point us in the right direction. It was just like Spinal Tap.
That's funny. Yeah, that stuff happens. I know.
Oh God, we just went to the Hell in the Harbor, and it's, you know, this huge festival, and we were taking a break, but we wanted to set up a table and kind of do some on the spot interviews. But we didn't realize when we came down from the garage, I mean, we had table, generators, you know, microphones. The way they had the street blocked off, we had to walk around the block to get to where we were setting up. I was like, oh my God.
Yeah, we got our work out that day. Yeah.
Not being able to find the stage. I'm like, oh, my arms were killing me. I was like, seriously?
Yeah.
We were playing the Bang Your Head Festival one year, and I really loved that Swedish band Grand Magus. And I saw they were playing like an hour after our plane landed. So we're rushing, you know, we get back to the hotel, and I've got like 20 minutes before they go on stage. So I just give some guy in the street €5 if I can ride in the back of his truck and he can drop me off. So he drops me off. I don't have passes or credentials for that night. So I just walk in and they're yelling at me. I just walked in the back and they're yelling at me, and I just pretending like I don't hear them. And then I go ask for a pass, and they say, well, okay, this is, you know, don't ever do this again, but we will give you a pass. So then I got greedy and wanted to see him from the photo pit. So I like pretended like I had a camera. I'm like literally had nothing in my hands, and I'm going like that. That's and they let me do that for a few songs until they kicked me out of the photo pit. But then all the fans let me come up front. So it was just great and crazy time.
That's cool. I interviewed JB from Grand Magus years ago for a print magazine. And I made the mistake of asking him, do you like the new Lord of the Rings movies that had just come out? And he gave me like a 12-page dissertation on all the things that were wrong with it. And he doesn't agree with how they portrayed Gollum. I mean, it was I wouldn't have asked that question if I'd known he was going to go that way. Yeah.
That is hilarious.
Yeah.
I love his voice.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And he's in Spiritual Beggars too, which is kind of like that's kind of a side. I guess that's it's become more of a 5-year, every 5-year kind of thing now, I guess, because he's in so many other bands.
So as veterans, do you have any tips or tricks for touring that you've learned?
Yeah, you know, I think the biggest tip is a really simple one. You have to really love what you're doing. Absolutely. If you're in it for any other reason, like, I can go on that tour and make a couple grand, that is not going to be a fun time for you. You're just going to have to really, really love it. Another wacky tip I have is I take every tour spot that I'm going to, and I go a month in advance. Every morning I go on Google Earth and do like the virtual reality walk around the city.
Oh yeah.
So then we get in this place we're playing, and my band members are saying, I want to get a slice of pizza. And I can go, 1 block over, take a right and go down 3. And they just think they call me the heavy metal Magellan.
Oh, you're using the technology. Why not? I mean, it's there. Yeah.
I used it when I went to Iceland, and I had Reykjavik down so much that locals were asking me. I had 2 local people. Hey, Mark, where's that new ice cream parlor? Oh, it's up there. You know, the whale museum.
Wow.
Okay, got it. Yeah.
That's great. Oh, I love that. Yeah. So what were the hardest years? We've been at this for over 40 years now.
Metal sure has its ups and downs.
What were some of the, I guess, as the Swedes say, when was the wind blowing the hardest, you know?
Well, it's always hard. Our albums tend to take a few years to catch on. Like when Ample Destruction came out, it got pretty mediocre reviews. Like the biggest metal magazine in the world was Metal Forces, and they ranked it 15th of the month, not even 15th of the year, 15th best album of the month. And they gave it a score, which in their magazine was about a C-. And
That was what, 84? Was that 84?
yeah.
Well, if you look at what came out in 84, my God. I mean,
Oh yeah,
the
lots of
competition.
good stuff.
Yeah, yeah.
So I couldn't even give Ample away. We only had a US deal. And so I sent it off to every European label I could find, and all of them said no. And I said, look, you can just have it for free. Just release it. Nope, no interest. So that was about 4 or 5 years until people really picked up on Ample, and it's considered an underground classic now. But that took about 4 years, and I noticed that with every album since. We came out with our Fort Judgment album, which was the Ample lineup, except for drummers, except for a different drummer. And a lot of people are, this is good, but it's not quite there. Why people's minds changed 5 years later. And then all of a sudden I started signing all those. So it's we're getting used to it, but it is a bit weird.
Yeah, that's very unusual. I've never heard that before. Incidentally, my Jag Panzer song is Iron Eagle. I just can never get enough of that song. I love the way I love obviously the way he shreds, and when it stops and starts again. I just think it's the coolest song ever. It should be like in a soundtrack for like Top Gun 3 or something. It's so awesome,
So we played Iron Eagle at Vakken.
Uh-huh.
And before we went on stage, a journalist told me, "Are you playing anything other than Ample Destruction songs?" And I said, "Well, we're actually playing about 4 or 5 from Ample, but we're doing like Iron Eagle." And he said, "People will boo during Iron Eagle, and you may get your set cut short." And I said, "Well, man, I don't think so." So we're playing Iron Eagle, and everybody's singing Iron Eagle. I mean, people as far as I could see. I looked over at the journalist. I pointed to the crowd. Listen to him. I'm doing this to that journalist. Listen. But to his credit, right when we got off stage, he said I was totally wrong.
Wow. Yeah. Oh, he's probably an indie rock guy or something anyway. So.
And he was somebody that had only gave Age of Mastery, the album with Iron Eagle, he had only gave it 1 listen, gave it like a 7 out of 10. And he said, okay, I think I need, and he told me, after seeing that crowd response, I think I need to listen to it again.
Yeah, understood. It's probably all Leonard Cohen all the time. That type.
I was listening to Leonard Cohen this morning.
Yeah.
So what is your, like, when you take it out on tour, like, have you thought about what's going to go on the set list? Is it going to be some of everything? Just all the hollowed?
We all have different jobs in the band, and I am banned from set list input.
Really?
Yeah, I saw your set list on Instagram. Haha, Jesse's girl.
That was hilarious. Yeah, that was really good.
Oh, I had a lot of people thought that was real.
Oh,
I believe it.
God.
I believe it. Yeah. Well, why are you banned from set listing?
Yeah, I tend to pick the songs I like.
Mm-hmm.
And try to convince.
Oh, you and only you.
Yeah. Okay, let's do this. And it was kind of funny for a while, but now my bandmates are, we'll just do the set list.
Do you guys ever throw any covers in? Stop. Do you ever throw any covers?
Let me think. Yeah, we have once in a while, we covered Number of the Beast a couple times. We covered Fast as a Shark.
Oh yeah.
Actually, for sound check now, we wouldn't play this live. People would just look at us like, what's going on? But I think for sound check, we're going to play Scotty Doesn't Know from the movie Euro Trip.
That's an obscure one. Yeah.
Because it's got everything you need to sound check. It's got singing vocals, singing backing vocals, shouted backing vocals. Scotty doesn't know. Scotty doesn't know. So it really is actually a good song for a sound check.
Now that's really good veteran band wisdom right there. That's something that I think the young crowd could really benefit from that. Yeah.
Oh yeah, because I've seen bands do, let's do our hit song for sound check. Oh, come on, please don't.
God.
Because then, you got people listening and trying to come in, and it kind of spoils the surprise for them. Trust me, if we're playing Scotty Doesn't Know to sound check, nobody's going to come in to hear it.
Well, I bet the Germans really like Fast as a Shark when they hear that,
Yeah, well, that sort of got mixed reviews. A lot of people like it. liked it, and a lot of people thought that's not a song anybody should be covering. And I said, okay, I can respect either opinion.
Yeah. When I heard it, I thought that's the fastest drums ever. It'll never be topped. That's it. That's as fast as you can play. End of story. Yeah.
Oh, I heard we were almost done writing Ample Destruction when I heard Fast as a Shark, and I just hung my head in shame. And
Right.
we went back and we worked on that song, Generally Hostile, for 2 weeks because we had to do a fast double bass song after hearing Fast as a Shark.
Yeah, I think a lot of bands were just like, we're cooked now. That's it. You know, we can't.
Yeah, because it was so shocking because it was fast and heavy, but sacrificed no melody.
Yeah.
I mean, it had a great melodic chorus and a very melodic guitar solo.
Yeah.
It was a game changer.
Yeah.
All right. Should we do our game?
Yeah. Speaking of
all right. Time for our game. It's 5 random questions.
Okay.
So I have 100 questions in front of me. So I want you to pick 5 numbers.
13, 27, 40, 63, 88.
Okay.
I had to change the way I preface that because some people thought I was going to ask them 100 questions. So I was like, no.
If we lead off with 100 questions, people tend to have a heart attack. They're like, what?
If I get asked 100 questions, I will answer all of them.
So how do you take your coffee?
From Starbucks with a bunch of sugar and whipped cream in it.
Okay. Yeah.
I'm not a coffee guy. I'm trying to get off of caffeine because I was a big Red Bull guy and I was just doing like 4 Red Bulls a day. So I'm down to like I quit Red Bull in exchange for Coke because I like cold caffeine. So I'm only down to about 2 a week. So I'm just trying to get off it but regular coffee. Yeah, like caramel macchiato with extra caramel and whipped cream and sprinkles on top.
Yeah, this friend of mine, she was trying to get me to try a drink it's an energy drink with Jaeger mixed into it. I'm like,
oh yeah, oh my
I'm
God.
okay with I'm okay. I got scotch here. I'm okay. I mean, you're not going to beat this, you know. So.
Yeah, I would be under the table probably.
Yeah, I don't understand do they cancel each other out? I don't know. Anyway, just not my bag. Not my bag. No.
Jaeger's not my bag at all. 27. What is your favorite play from Shakespeare? We might know the answer.
We might know the answer.
Oh, that has to be Macbeth. Yes, absolutely. Yeah, Macbeth is great. I mean, I like Macbeth so much that I hired Doosan that did our cover, and he is doing a new cover for Thane of the Throne.
Oh wow.
Awesome. Yeah, we have a kind of we always laugh about Macbeth because we like the movie Exorcist 3 with George C. Scott, and he does
okay.
You know, he's so melodramatic where he's like, do you know what a Macbeth is about? It is a play about the numbing of the moral sense, and it's all this fire and brimstone. You know. Yeah, George C. Scott was. Yeah. So
have you seen that movie Scotland, PA?
No.
It's a Christopher Walken movie. It's fairly obscure, but it's great. It's the Macbeth story set in a 70s fast food restaurant. And this guy named Macbeth wants to run the restaurant. You know, and he's walking home one day and he meets the 3 sisters who are hippies. And they're telling him, hey man, you should be running that restaurant. You're the best manager. You should be in charge.
Oh, that's
it's
so
great.
Cool.
It's the total Macbeth story. It's called Scotland, PA.
I'll have to check that out. That sounds really cool.
That's awesome. Yeah. All right, moving on. Number 40. What would you call a male ladybug?
Oh, man, that's a really hard question. As terrible and boring of an answer, I think I would just have to go with male ladybug.
Yeah, you can't get a whole lot more creative with that.
Yeah.
63. Do you have a comfort food that you go to when you're stressed?
Oh, yeah. I like to go by, and everybody thinks this is so ridiculous. I like to go buy really good pasta, like the Chico Cavatappi or something, like really good pasta. And then I buy 3 boxes of Kraft macaroni and cheese, and I just take the cheese out of that. So I have really good pasta with just the cheapest cheese from Kraft. And I don't put the milk or butter. I just put the cheese in there and let it mix with the water. So it's like super intense cheese tasting. And I just used to eat that as a kid. We didn't have a lot of money growing up, and it just is fond memories. And I loved it as a kid, and I like it now. But yeah, it is kind of wacky.
That is funny. Yeah.
I-
Because that's,
Yeah.
we didn't have 1,000 flavors of Oreos when we were kids. No.
Yeah.
It was a little different
Yeah,
times.
definitely.
I love it though. All right, so we did 63, so we're up to 88. Would you prefer beach or mountains for vacation?
100% the beach, because I live right at the foothills of the mountains. I mean, I have 800 acres of woods right across the street.
Wow.
And exciting woods where, big rocks and mountain lines and deep trails into the forest. So I love the beach. In fact, my girlfriend and I are going to Curacao in 3.5 weeks, so I can get a little vacation before the tour. Have you guys ever been there?
No,
No.
we're Baltimore.
Yeah.
Curacao is incredible. It's so cool that in the comic book for the Hallowed, they find a note about where the Hallowed is, the longitude, latitude. That's Curacao.
Oh, okay. Yeah.
Curacao is off of Venezuela. It's 30 miles off the coast of Venezuela. They speak English there, and they take the dollar. And it's about the size of a mid-sized U.S. city, and there's 31 pristine white sand beaches with clear, warm water. They've never had a shark attack there. The locals have never even seen one. And the waters are packed with fish and healthy coral reefs. They don't have any, I think they only have one fast food restaurant on the island, the KFC. So they got all these great restaurants. Like they have an incredible Italian restaurant there that's ran by somebody who decided to move from Italy down to the tropics.
Wow.
So it's wonderful. It's cheap. We're staying at the nicest hotel on the island for $140 a night, and it has its own house reef.
I did notice that about like when I went on a cruise or the Caribbean, that there's a lot of KFCs, and I'm a runner, so I sometimes would get off the boat and run through the island, and you would see like wild chickens in the parking lot of the KFC, and I wanted to go, don't you know where you are?
Not a good place for chickens. So, no.
Yeah, I've noticed that too, because we've done like the metal cruise, and yeah, you see KFC everywhere. It's really weird. I don't quite get it.
So I would think you're in kind of hiking country there where you live, right? There's a lot of hiking and stuff.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So
I was wondering, are there hiking posers? Are there people that just wear the garb and don't actually hike the same way that? Yeah, because like you go to the gym and there's people that are wearing the clothes, but they're never doing anything. Are there hiking posers? I've always wondered this.
100%. Yeah. I
He's
see
got
it
the
every day.
boots, he's got the jacket, the North Face, but he doesn't do shit. Yeah.
Yeah, because I go over to the woods every day, and then if I want to drive 5 minutes, there's like a serious hike that'll take you to a World War II aircraft wreck.
Oh wow!
And, yeah, the more serious hikes, you see people wearing $1,500 worth of clothes that turn back after 10 minutes.
Exactly. All right, I had a feeling. Yeah, because it's so fashionable. Yeah.
Yeah, that stuff's expensive. I went to look at it the other day. It's $1,500 to get a cool hiking clothes.
Right. Almost too nice to get messed up by hiking. Yeah. Right.
Oh yeah. Because if you're out there hiking some of the hardcore trails, you're going to get very muddy and dirty.
Oh yeah.
All right, so I had a burning question. What is that creature on the Metal Meets the Ice tour? That kind of, it almost looks like a wild ghoul or dog.
Yeah, that's from the Hallowed. They're called, there's two creatures in the Hallowed. There's one called the Jaw, and they just give collective names to these creatures. There's one called the Swarm and one called the Jaw. The Jaw is similar to a large hyena, and they live in a pack, and they have the ability to stand upright and slow down their body vitals in order to ambush any person coming by.
Oh, wow.
So they will hide in the dark standing there motionless for hours. And if a person walks by, they will just put all their weight down on them. And then they'll howl for the pack, and the pack will come eat them while they're alive. Very gruesome.
Wow.
And if you hear the sound they make is on the hallowed, I think it's before Onward We Toil. It's kind of a creepy howling sound.
Ah, I didn't know what that was.
That's what that is. Yeah, I worked for it. Yeah, I probably worked for about 3 days on that. I tried to pretend I was working for a horror movie and needed to come up with a kind of a different howl sound. And what it is, it's an Aztec death whistle, sort of pitched down and flanged.
Wow.
You'll have to come up with a suit for this guy and then put him on stage behind you.
Oh, that would be cool. I wish we had the budget for that stuff. We do have a giant, 25-foot version of the album cover that we're going to put behind us at Bakken.
That's cool.
That's going to be, and then in front of our amp stacks, we're putting amp stacks from the hallowed, so they're all frozen, and some of the speakers are blown out.
That's awesome.
Oh,
So
wow.
that's our extent of a cool stage show. I mean, it's nowhere near any of the big band shows, but it'll be all right.
Well, who knows? After your mandatory 5-year wait, maybe this will be a major motion picture, right?
Oh, that would be so cool. I dream about that. I realize it's highly unlikely, but I always dreamed about having a song in a movie, and we had a song in a Charlize Theron film. So, that happened. So,
Yep.
Yeah, you never know. I mean, did you see The Last of Us? That was made from a video game.
Right. Yeah, that was a
So,
good show. I enjoyed
Very
that.
well.
Really good.
We were so hooked.
Yeah.
Don't get me started on fungi.
Yeah.
Do you know that
Oh.
actually happens? There is it's a fungi that turns ants into zombies.
That's
That
crazy.
is what it was based on, but it can't affect people because ants have that lower, body temperature. But they actually go, and it makes them go to a place where they can spawn, and then the ant dies, and then it eats the ant.
Oh my God, I had no idea. I like that giant one that was in Last of Us.
Oh God.
Yeah, that was one of those where it was like 1 o'clock in the morning on a Tuesday, and we're like, all right, one more episode. You know what I mean?
Yeah, same here. I hadn't watched it yet. I have almost no time for TV, so I hadn't watched it. So my bandmates kept bugging me. Yeah, I just watched it straight through and stayed up all night. It was great. I got to see. I watched Sisu the other day, and that was wonderful. Have you seen that?
No. What is
It's
that?
a Finnish action film. I mean, how often you see an action film from Finland?
Wow.
And I was intrigued because it was from Finland,
and
because it was having such phenomenal reviews. And I said, okay, I have to watch this. It was totally over the top. It was like a Quentin Tarantino film. Loved it.
Okay, cool. Yeah, we're getting all kinds of good recommendations from you. This is great. Lots of stuff to watch. Yeah.
So you guys are when you come back to the U.S., you're gonna do that festival in Madison, Wisconsin, the Blades of Steel Metal Festival.
Yep.
I don't know what it is about Madison. It's like a little magic area, and so many of our favorite bands are from there, like Lords of the Trident and
Last Crack.
And what do you think it is that makes that area produce high quality metal and attract all these festivals?
Yeah, I'm actually curious about that too, because I've never been to Madison. So I actually don't know. I'm looking forward to find out. I know I've always been a fan of Cleveland, and we've always had great gigs there, and they have a great metal scene. And I know their metal scene, as a result, from talking to people, they all tell me the same thing. Look, we work really, really hard here in Cleveland, and we want to play hard and party hard, and that means metal.
Yeah.
I was reading metal actually is good for you because it's like a place to put your anxiety and aggressions and kind of release it. There was actual news story on that. So.
Oh yeah, I believe it. I've read that too, that metalheads are more well adjusted, and every metalhead I know is. I mean, actually the wackiest people I know are people that listen to other kinds of music.
Yeah. Yeah, I don't remember anybody throwing themselves at the feet of Michael Stipe, when I was at that show, There weren't any fanatical REM fans that were crowd surfing.
I know a couple of people that are big dance music fans, and they're really obsessed with the beat per minute.
Oh yeah.
I'm like, no, I can't have this discussion about why 130 is great, but 131 is completely wrong.
Yeah.
So are you planning more US tour dates after Madison?
Yeah, there's something coming up in January. You know, we all have the different jobs in the band, so I don't do touring either, but I'm told to have my passport ready the end of January. And I said, well, so we going back to Europe? No, we're going somewhere new. So I don't know where that is. So I'm kind of excited. It's funny, when I was a kid, I used to go watch the movie Song Remains the Same, and I thought, come on, this can't happen for real, where Robert Plant gets a letter. Oh, we're touring. Here's where we're going. That's exactly how it happens. I just get an email that says, here's where we're going.
Did they at least tell you what kind of clothes to bring?
No, no, I'm here in Colorado. So, you know, it's shorts weather in the winter here even. So I am actually much hardier than my bandmates who live in Phoenix, who, oh, it's 80 degrees. It's freezing. Yeah, we were down in Florida mixing one time, and it was like 76 out, and everybody shows up in a coat. And I said, you have a coat on, it's 76. And they said, yeah, we know, it's freezing.
Freezing in Florida. Okay.
Freezing, 76. So brutal.
Oh, that's funny.
I told them Colorado short weather is 46.
God. Yeah, people who live in Florida, we have a lot of patients who, you know, winter in Florida. And the one guy called me and he said that their heat wasn't working. It was horrible. It was only 65 degrees in their house. And I'm like, oh my, how will we survive?
65. Wow. Yeah.
He's not working in Florida.
Yeah. Well, this was great.
This was great.
I have to call the YAG hotline to find out where you guys are, I guess.
Yeah, I think we're going to have it on for probably another 4 weeks, and then we're going to shut it off.
Okay. Well, we were able to experience it. I feel so privileged. So,
And
yeah.
Cool. How did you hear about it?
It was on the telephone pole post where it's on, like, I think your Instagram page. It looks like it almost should be like where you rip the numbers off the bottom of it.
Right.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I always ask people where they see this stuff, because we did a series of postcards that we sent out, and that was one of the postcards, was that telephone pole image.
Yeah, really cool.
You guys had some great ideas, like as far as like the talking photo, and I like the dog tag idea and throwing them out in the crowd. So
yeah,
really super innovative.
Oh, people love that stuff. And it's I don't know why more bands don't do it. I mean, I give away probably 10 guitar picks a show, and our drummer gives away his wristbands, and our singer gives away his dog tags. And you know, it probably cost us $10, and you just get a wealth of goodwill, and the fans love it. And there's lots of cool photos. And so I don't know why more bands don't do that.
Yeah.
We're really smart.
You know, less focus on nickel and diming the fans, and more focus on a good time. I mean, I'd never tell another band how to do their business, but that's how we do it. You know, no nickel and diming them. And if we can make the concert experience a little better by throwing away some stuff, then good, let's do it.
That's very cool.
Well, if you guys come here, we'll be there.
Absolutely.
Where are you guys at?
Well, in Baltimore. So if you come anywhere close to Baltimore, like even Philly, we'll make the pilgrimage. Yeah.
How far is Baltimore to Philly?
About
2 hours. You can get there in 2 hours.
Yeah.
Yeah, I used to date a girl from some place named Havre de Grace, or
Havre de Grace. Okay.
Grace, sure.
That's just north of us. Yeah. So,
oh, okay.
Yeah. It's right. It's on the water. Yeah.
Yeah, our first date, we went to a seafood restaurant, and I was struggling with how to open crab legs, because this is Colorado. I don't know that stuff.
Yeah.
She just grabbed my plate. Let me do it.
Yeah, that's a Maryland thing. Kind of like crawfish in New Orleans. Like you have to be taught how to do it. Yeah.
Yeah, I've seen some horrified people with a pile of crabs in front of them. Like, what do I do? And they just hit it.
People from Boston come down and they're like, oh, that's not like lobster. And Boston people are snobby about eating crabs.
Yeah, our second date, I took my notebook and I took notes. I said, do this slowly. So I got it down now. but I did not then. I think it didn't win any points with her that I was completely helpless with crab.
With crabs. That's funny.
Well, if you come on out, stop by. We'll give you a full demonstration.
Yeah.
Okay.
It's a very social event. You know, the beer, the crabs, TV. Yeah. So.
That's
yeah, I
awesome.
love seafood. I love seafood. So.
Very cool.
And it's not that good here in Colorado. And I imagine it's great there.
Yeah. Well, our rule when I traveled was always don't get seafood in a landlocked state. So, because that means it's coming from, you don't know where it's coming from. You know? So.
Yeah, the best seafood here is from Red Lobster, and I'm not even joking. I mean, that is really the best seafood you're going to get in Colorado.
Understood. Yeah. Technology.
Really
No. Go ahead. But what were you going to say? Go on with your story.
Yeah, I had musicians tell me,
I caught a shark.
Oh, cool. I'm in the middle of an interview.
But it was a leopard
Well, here,
shark.
come in and say hello.
Oh, my.
Hi.
Well, here, you got to show yourself on camera.
But I didn't do my hair today.
No, just for a second.
Hi.
Hi.
We're playing this VR fishing game, and I could never catch a shark, and I caught a leopard shark.
All right.
So I'm psyched. I had to tell Mark, but I didn't know you were doing an interview.
No, that's okay.
But,
that's okay.
yeah, I caught a leopard shark, and it was super exciting. It's like the best thing I've done in like a year. That's good.
No, that's okay. We interviewed John Cobbett.
My life is pathetic.
We interviewed John Cobbett from Hammers of Misfortune, and we didn't know this, but he was babysitting his young son for that.
Oh,
so no F-bombs. No, it was a challenge.
The classic moment in the interview, because his son was there, is he picks up a bowl, like, the smoke pot with, and goes, "Is this a glass cigarette?"
Yeah, and so John,
it's all on camera.
It's on the show. John has to explain to him, no, this is for medicinal purposes.
This is adult medicine.
Yeah, so
that's cool.
Yeah. So we
well,
had to
nice to meet you, but I'm really, really excited.
Okay, well, good luck with fishing.
I missed probably 12 of them, and I finally caught.
That is exciting.
Okay.
Congratulations.
Thank you.
Very cool.
So what I was saying, a common question I get asked, which is really weird to me, is people ask me if you're doing an interview with a local Colorado magazine and Rolling Stone wants to interview you, do you blow off the Colorado one? And I'm like, no, you don't ever blow off anybody. Come on.
Why is it either or? I don't understand.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Oh,
Yeah.
I get either or all the time where people are like, so are you buying this album or this one? Are you buying the new Metal Church or Overkill? I'm getting both of them. They're both great. Yeah. I mean,
that is bizarre. Yeah.
It's not a zero-sum game.
Right. Exactly. Oh, well, congratulations on her catching the leopard shark.
Now we got to get her out in a real boat. She'll get you some real seafood.
Have you guys ever tried that virtual reality stuff?
No.
No.
It looks wild.
Oh my, it's shocking how real it is.
Yeah.
Oh man, I made fun of people in virtual reality because I would watch videos and people could not step off a cliff. And I'm like, come on, I could step off a cliff. I would know. So I got my virtual reality, loaded up the steep cliff, and my feet would not move. My mind is saying, this is fake. This is fake. You're in your living room.
Oh, wow.
And I knew intellectually, I was in my living room. My brain would not let my feet step off that cliff. I had to think about it for about 10 minutes. So now I can step off the cliff.
Wow.
That's wild. Well, I mean, on the fishing front, I've had 3 bosses that had boats, and all 3 of them, their wives hated the boat. So there's something about having a boat.
It's a lot of work.
I think it's because it becomes your new wife or something, and they feel neglected. Yeah.
Yeah, lots of maintenance and upkeep. My girlfriend you just met, she had a boat for a while, but she sold it, I guess 3 years ago.
Yeah. I mean, I want to be the guy that just comes and visits the boat. Like, I'll bring 6 beers, and
yeah.
and then I don't have to do the barnacles and all that.
Yep, no barnacles, no painting, no payment.
This is the Snaggletooth Rock and Roll Podcast.